Hi everyone, number one Marmaduke fan here. I just read this trade paperback in one sitting and I am digging it. As I've said before, Batman the Animated Series was my thing when I was a little whippersnapper. All the animated series spin-offs like Batman Beyond, I was digging that as a kid. So saw this, grabbed it, and this is almost like a tough letter to SJW Marvel on how to do diversity right, how to do action. Everything's hitting it. So the first thing that kind of annoyed me a bit was, I pick up a Batman Beyond book. It says Volume 1 on the front, but it's Tim Drake, not Terry McGinnis. But I like Tim Drake. He was the Robin of my childhood, and they caught me up to speed on everything that's been going down before this. So I guess I was kind of expecting this to be like the first set of Batman Beyond comics, but again, this was a happy accident because this threw me right into the middle of like a big Armageddon fight with Skynet from, oh gosh, is that Terminator? Yeah, so Brother Eye is pretty much Skynet from Terminator, and this is just a great example of hitting me with some good stuff right in the opening chapter, and then boom, 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 always raising the stakes, always getting more kick-ass. I've put some bookmarks in to spot like the two like little weird moments artistically where I want to throw shade on the artist, but man, I've got mad respect for the art. I've got mad respect for the colorist. I've got mad respect for the story. Generally, how would I describe the art? Solid superhero art, generally kick-ass, generally beautiful, generally energetic. I've got nothing bad to say about the drawing style itself. Some bold compositions, some interesting color theory, real good, awesome, kick-ass superhero book, and continues the story of the Batman Beyond universe. Well, that's the thing. This is sort of like a different universe than the animated TV series, but it shows love to the animated series and it shows love to the character of Tim Drake, where I feel like this is a great ending of his story, him becoming the Batman, him realizing his full potential. So the interesting thing it does with color is you'll kind of have, standard superhero color. They'll sometimes do the thing where there's one bright color, like in the animated series, where they do experimental things with color designs. And then they'll have one panel where it becomes really graphic and they simplify to a monochromatic theme of white, red, brown. And I feel like this is what my boy Zach was trying to go for in his first attempt at Jawbreakers with sort of the red panel vibe. And this is a better example because it will use this frequently enough that it becomes a theme. Like big dynamic moments get this kind of more graphic, 2 or 3 color treatment, but it won't overwhelm you with it over and over and over again. It's used sparingly, and it still ties in with the rest because there's always going to be kind of a red and brown. Red and brown brown goes well with everything because it's a more neutral color, and then red usually ties in with something else. And then some of the later panels are really intelligent in that they'll introduce a couple other colors to help your mind separate different things. So if ink shows up, she'll be blue. So it'll still be very simple colors, red, white, red, brown, blue. And when he has his big fight with Brother Eye, then Brother Eye is, I think, bluish or brownish, and then the explosion on Brother Eye is orange and his eye beam is blue. So it's just helping you mentally separate things while still keeping a really solid, impactful spot color, but then kind of the painted style for everything else. And the variants are usually just kind of clever recolors of with like some slight changes. But let's get the colorist. Marcelo Maiolo, mad respect. All right, so Tim Drake shows up from the past. Terry McGinnis went from the future to the past, and Tim Drake came from the past to the future. Time travel shenanigans. And once you say time travel shenanigans, then you're down for a really kick-ass story where everything's building. They had Max come back from the animated series, and Barbara Gordon came along for most of the adventure. I wasn't really figuring out whether this is actually supposed to be the animated series universe or just similar to the animated series universe, because Barbara Gordon was pretty old in that TV show. And I kind of feel like this should have been Max's adventure with Tim Drake, where I mean, Barbara Gordon's a much more famous and beloved character than Max, but if you knew the TV show, then Max was really cool. She established herself as a sidekick in her own right. She kind of fulfilled the role of Barbara Gordon's Oracle in Terry McGinnis's world as the new Batman. So it had been a bit more believable for a young woman to, follow around Tim Drake's Batman on this big crazy adventure than 50-something, 60-something Barbara Gordon. So that's the only thing I wish I could have changed, but man, everything was kicking butt. Okay, here's one of the covers I was talking about. So it really is just kind of a glorified redraw, but I love seeing, changes in a cover, changes in the style, maybe things that didn't work. So I guess Barbara was going to have a real, military crew cut for a while, and then I guess they changed it to a little bit more of a female haircut. And then, so the underdrawing is similar, but then just some variety in the color theory. So I like that. I like seeing some variety in the designs and some of the changes to the design. Okay, here's my first bookmark for a weird moment. So here's, ink, solid blue color, Barbara, red, white, brown, really impactful. Then Tim Drake falls through the floor, and it looks like he's fallen a good few feet. Boom, he's right back up. So I guess, and this doesn't really work as a matter of timing because their ink is in the middle of a sentence. So even if he is quickly climbing back up, he wouldn't be able to climb back up in the matter of nanoseconds, and he's fallen too far to grab onto anything. He's in midair, and without his suit, he doesn't have the ability to fly and defy gravity. So that was kind of a weird moment, pacing-wise. Brother Eye has this weird habit of saying EYE in place of I, which I think is cool because even looking at it, just looking at the word EIE slows you down enough that it kind of implies a weird robotic voice in my head as I read it. And the Brother Eye is a really cool villain. He's consistently terrifying. He's consistently destroying everything and really giving poor Tim Drake a hard time. He has one cool moment where Tim Drake says the Justice League built this station to withstand Darkseid, and Brother Eye says, I am worse. Ooh, so cool. Man, hitting everything. Here's another recolored cover. So there's the color version, there's the black and white version, the glass container changed from one version to the other. So I like that. It's a bit of spot the differences. Man, I'm digging the marker and the variety of brush strokes in this, the use of different strokes to indicate kind of glass and a clear view of the character and the character through glass slightly obscuring him. Man, so much I'm jamming with. Golly gee willikers. Okay, I'm just going to... And they even get... I guess this has something to do with the New 52. And like I said, I took my big break from superhero comics. I didn't read anything related to the New 52 whatsoever. I just kind of dimly recognized this as the Batman suit that Jim Gordon wore for a while when he was Batman. And Terry gets that, and they give it a cool recolor, and he goes to kick some more butt in an old school suit. Wow. Oh, this was so rad. Okay. Here's the other little weird pacing moment. So he rescues Ink's daughter, and she's kind of leaning on him at first, and in this page she's giving him more flack, and then she's leaning on him again. This feels like a weird character moment where did she think about it and decide, I shouldn't blame him for Ink being destroyed and then want a hug again. This comics, the gutter, something happens between the gutters and your imagination has to fill that in. And if you have an awkward moment where you're having trouble filling in what happened, that might be an indication that you're missing an important story beat. There's a beat in the character's mind where she's angry, she thinks about it, she hugs him. And we're missing she thinks about it before she hugs him. What's the other awesome thing? Diverse characters. Okay, so the guest star of this is this dude named Micron, who seems to have the power of the Atom. And he makes an impression when he enters as kind of a tough survivor. He roasts Tim Drake a bit for doing a big mistake. Tim Drake essentially accidentally reveals Gotham to Brother Eye, and then Brother Eye launches an attack. So it's understandable for him to roast Tim Drake a bit for doing that. And Barbara is kind of in Tim Drake's corner and says, he couldn't have anticipated that. This is Brother Eye's fault. Let's focus and let's go fight and save Gotham. But Micron doesn't clown Terry. He does cool stuff in a really desperate fight with Terry. And all I know about Micron pretty much is that he kicks butt. He's a survivor. He's kind of tough and sensible, and he's in it to win it with Terry. So he doesn't like whine and moan at Tim Drake this whole fight. He's with them. He's hanging with them. He's doing his part. And man, he's the guest star, and he looks really cool, and he does some awesome stuff. He's a diverse character who is allowed to be cool and do awesome stuff and make an impression as the guest star in Batman Beyond's book. Batman Beyond is the main star and has the most awesome moments, but I'm interested in this dude. He seems cool. Let's give him a mini-series. Man, he made a really cool impression. And dang, this is how you do it right. Okay, so SJW Marvel has this problem of how do you approach diversity? What's the difference between pandering and representation? And the problem seems to be clowning the old characters, treating the old characters as, things, even as they're sort of bringing them back. The whole vibe of Generations was the new characters are just as cool too. They may be even better than the old characters. But this did a new diverse character right. He is helping, he's being cool, he's being awesome in his own right, and he's not demeaning or destroying an established character that we like to try to prop him up. Mega props. I am so stoked by how exciting this was. What a kick-butt adventure. Start to finish, not slowly building a bunch of Gorky stuff I don't care about, but wham, right into it. Go get this, guys. It's going to be a fun... This is a fun read it on the way to grandma's house book. I've already got book 2, and I'm looking forward to doing that too. #1 Marmaduke fan. Catch you later.